Hi everyone, welcome back to Prototype to Polish. I'm Greg. Let's kind of jump into this. Some recent news is that I had to go ahead and update the Patreon page, kind of make that go live way before I was planning on doing it. I was going to be doing that in like a couple months, but I guess Patreon has some updates coming. And if I wanted to lock in like certain things, especially for payment methods and all that, I had to go live now. So it's going to be kind of an empty place, but if you're interested, that's up. I'll be updating it for a bit and adding some things to it and whatnot, but yeah, it's there a little bit earlier than I thought it would be. Well, let's get back into Puzzle Box. For those who don't know, it's a mobile version of kind of like Zelda mixed with some a lot of kind of dungeon design stuff. We're going to get to dungeon design, later. Right now we just kind of want to get combat. So the idea is to still have this kind of dance that you'd see in like a Zelda or Dark Souls. We got our AI, but we have some issues. One is that I seem to die like in a single hit a lot of the time. So I need to, so that's 2 hits. I should have 3 health. I think the same happens to the enemy as well. There's some weird bugs with that, where, my attacks somehow do more than 1 damage. I am able to interrupt, which is really cool, but like right there, I'm already dead. So we need to do, some basic fixing, some updates to some stuff. Kind of a little bit boring of a stream, I'm sure, but we got to do it just to make sure everything's up and running and working. We can also do some other stuff just to spice it up a little bit. Something we could do is, let's take a look at this attack. Okay, so something we did for the other one was that we split up the attack to make it slower. This overhead one, we took the first, I don't know how many frames it was, the wind up, and we just slowed that down by a lot. And then we tossed it in here. So let's do the same for the side attack real quick. So the side attack has this guy here. Open asset. Here's this. So between here and here, we want kind of this wind up to happen. And as soon as we pass this part around here, around 4 frames, let's enable damage and swing through. Right? So let's attack 4. So attack 4 right here. We're going to make 2 duplicates. We're going to do beginning and ending. 04. What did I call the other ones? In and out. Attack 4 in, attack 4 out. And then in here, let's go ahead and just remove frames 4 to 29. Yeah. So we're going to have 3 frames here for this kind of wind up. But the rate is going to be real slow, like 1/4 of a second. That's not bad. And we'll get back to like actually making this work nicer later. 0 to 4, yeah, and then there's the rest of it. All right, cool. Oh, my guy is gone. Oh, I know why. I bet this is the hit react. Yeah, hit react again. I do this every time. It's an additive. So because it's an additive, it doesn't show up without another animation playing underneath it. I was looking to open this one. Here we go. So we're not going to do this animation anymore. We're going to take the 2 halves that we just put together. That's 04 in and 04 out. That's pretty slow for that intro. End time, start time. Let's jump to 0.5. And whoops, let's go back to my It's slightly better. It does not work in terms of being an animation because it's like this instantaneous snap, but it gives us like half a second. Let's see, 7.5 frames of wind up as opposed to 3. Which we could actually play with. All right, let's go back to my, was it 4 in? Okay, 4 in. Oh, let's also delete these. We don't want those on there. Let me check my other one too. O2 in, yeah, we're good. O2 out has all this, yeah. And then 4 out has all this. 4 in has none of it. Okay, so here's the thing. We'll leave this at 1. This will be play rate of 1, which is 3 frames, which is basically nothing. I wonder if we could overlap it. Like go to 5 frames and then the other one still starts right around here. See how that works? Let's try it. Just to see. I don't know if we're going to keep it. Then we got to move on. In O2 just for now. We'll replace the other one if it works. Go to, let's delete both of these. Go to about 5. Give ourselves slightly more. Oh wait, hold on. Remove 7. Yeah, 6 is too far. Let's remove 6, 7. It's still pretty close. I might have to do it. I don't know. 5 frames isn't a whole lot of frames for a wind up, but you know, whatever. Let's just see how it looks. Okay. And back into our attack. Let's toss in 042. No, that didn't work. There we go. Okay. Now, this is basically the same because our play rate of each one is at 1, but we can play with the play rate in here instead of playing it with it out there. Yeah, you're getting that jitter there, which sucks. Interesting. Okay, so we can't blend between these that I know of. I haven't dealt with that before, though, so maybe we can. We'll get to it. I mean, ultimately, we don't need to worry about it right now. We just need this to work. And same thing with this. We're just going to play with the not great, but you know, we're going to use it. It's fine. I'm going to remove this one and just keep the first one. And double check that this is, yeah, play rate's 1. Ooh, all right. It's better than nothing, but we don't really care too much. What we want to see is a quick health bar so that we can start checking out why our player character is kind of taking too much damage. Because if we take a look at our enemy and character, we should have a weapon, and when we attack, if they're damaging, it goes to our weapon. Weapon parent, where is it? weapon. Here we go. So the idea, though, is that players can't get damaged until their damage animation is done. Which maybe that's just going too quickly or something. Enter damaging. So we turn on the collision for a weapon, and whenever we pass through the player, we damage them, or anything in general. It's equip, whereas, yeah. So begin overlap. Can damage is if we're damaging and it's not ourselves. You know, it's not our own character. So this looks fine. I think it's going to have to do with our player and how we're handling damage. So in the parent class, enter damaged. We can't enter damaged if we're currently being damaged. We play a montage and then we leave. So this occurs, but inside the player, we're taking extra damage. Why is that? Are we not checking this again? Where did I put damaged? Let's take a look real quick at our parent class. I'm going to reorganize this real quick. So parent, player, enemy. Receive point damage is here in the parent class. And that's what our weapons are doing. They're applying it to a point wherever the weapon hits. Health minus. Check if we're death or damaged. Enter damaged. So here's a problem. We can take damage while we're in our damage state still, though, because we're doing it here as opposed to the damage state, right? Which asks the question: should we have a gate here that says, "Hey, can we be damaged at all right now?" I think we have to, because the damage state is, you've become damaged. So it's a state where the player plays an animation. They might not be able to move or do certain things. If you're stunned, it's a certain type of damage. Damage state kind of thing. We're not technically in it yet. We have to do the health stuff first before we can decide whether we're damaged or dead. So yeah, we're going to do a whole check here. Which means, so we receive point damage, we go into this group, and we have to do a can be damaged kind of thing. Which, enter damage state, do we have a function we can copy over? We don't. We just have this here. Which kind of begs the question of, should we make this a function and then reuse it? I think we could. That way we can also modify it in subclasses and children classes. So let's do that. We're going to make this a function, make it pure. We call this can be damaged. Be damaged. Okay. And we can copy this over to the other one. Receive damage, paste. No, I have to build this still. Sometimes that happens where Unreal will freak out a little bit because it doesn't know that this is updated yet. All right, in here, we're going to say, are we damaged or not? And then later on, we can add to this. But for now, this should be good enough. We can only take damage if we're... Well, actually, you know what? We're going to say and. We also have to be alive. So only if we're alive and we're not currently being damaged. Otherwise, there's no reason to do any of this. We might have a double gate essentially on both of these, but that's totally fine. So when we enter death, we do the same thing. We say, are we dead or are we alive before we decide to enter that state. Yeah, which we could also throw into a function, but we'll leave it for right now. So that should solve that problem, I think. To be sure, let's go ahead and do a print string every time we get damaged. We'll have to do a health bar or something soon. Might do that right after this, after we check it. Get display name. This will tell us what we are. Put our self in there. And we're going to append. I'm going to say health. H-E-A-L-T-H. Health. Or plug this in. Alright. I'll save, and let's press play and see. So I got hit with 2 health left, 1 health left, and 0. There we go. Let's see if it works for him. He's 2 health left, 1 health left. Oh. Attack. No. My attack is not working. How come? Come on. There we go. Yeah. But yeah, see? He's somehow back to life all of a sudden because I hit him one too many times. Let's see if that happens again. Yeah, see? So, we're entering death state. And that's not working. Enter death. Let's take a look at death. It says if we're alive, true, then set to false. So we should never be able to get back into here. Stop movement, play this animation, do all this stuff. Right? So, what's happening? Let's take a look at our enemy as well real quick, because he might put in a different damaged. It doesn't look like it. Alright, let's just test it out. See why that's happening. Okay, damaged. Answer's true. Gotta move this to the side. We're good. Okay. Now let's step through because I think this is the 3rd hit. Current health is 1. So now it's going to get to 0 because our 1 is now 0. Enter death. Check if we're alive. All that's fine. Stop movement. Play this. Oh, and because I had it paused, it like jumped forward suddenly. But all this is working. So I wonder why that's happening. See if we enter the damaged state ever. What is this for? So actor hidden. Access none. Oh, that's because the enemy doesn't have these things. I need to fix that error. The enemy doesn't have a shield. They have a weapon, but not a shield. Okay, damaged. Oh no. I'm losing. get this down. You know, I'll just tap. I can tap to move. Okay. That's 2. That's 3. Okay, that part works. That's fine. Try one more time. See what's going on. Oh no. Yeah, see? That's super weird. We're not entering damage state at all. So what's causing us to bounce out of our death animation? Are we getting interrupted somewhere else? We shouldn't be, because when we apply damage, this is where the damage state comes in, and then we should never be playing another montage or doing anything else. It should just be play your animation till complete, and then, you know, die, essentially. So let's see if this gets called instead from somewhere else. Because it's not getting called from here, which is the weird part. Okay, damage, play montage, that's fine. Now let's turn that part off. Second damage, third damage. Oh, I wasn't quick enough. We need to focus on that. 1, 2. I might have missed him. Darn. Where is this coming from then? Because I really don't think it's getting called somewhere else. Let's see if there's any other spot. Play montage. Yeah, there's only 2 montages. So there's nothing else playing? Or it shouldn't be anywhere else. Alright, we're not going to worry about it yet. I'm going to say it's okay for a minute. Instead, let's fix the other issue that we had, which is our character error. When we die, these things aren't there. So we're going to convert these to validated. And we're just going to do it based on a sequence. Just to do 1, 2, then 3. And these are nice just because if one of these happens to fail, it doesn't stop the other one from firing. Let's move this whole thing down. And give it a little bit more breathing room. Okay. Actually, I don't need self here, do I? Not anymore. Okay. There we go. We're just going to do some quick reroute stuff. It's not going to be the cleanest, but it'll work. Trying to think of what else would be causing it. I didn't get him that time. That's the worst kind of bug, though. It could just be that I'm not actually getting that last hit in, but it always sucks when the bug is elusive. You're not sure what's causing it. Only shows up sometimes. Yeah, reproing a bug like that is really, really tough sometimes and annoying. So something I'm noticing about combat right now is just that without having both like hands to hold your phone and play, like one for swiping and one for movement, this is real tough. It is not an easy kind of game to play. So that's something we got to start focusing in on in terms of designing something that's a little bit more friendly. Although I don't want to give up a whole lot of the freedom that like having a joystick gives the player, because being able to like move forward and backward and do all that stuff is really nice. We'll see. Being able to do some of this stuff is pretty cool. And it feels nice, you know. But yeah, that at least fixes that. And yeah, we'll still have to figure out what's going on with the other one. But next steps. So something I plan on doing is keeping streams kind of short, like a hour to 2 hours max. Just so that I can pop in after work and do an hour or so of building, and then very quickly cut and upload it to YouTube and stuff. But yeah, what do we want to do for today then? Is mainly like combat fixes and making sure things are working. So we can do health, doing like a very simple health bar for the time being, although health bar is probably not something that's best for this kind of game. Just because a health bar is hard to tell how much health you have left. It's like a percentage as opposed to like knowing, okay, I have 1 heart left from Zelda. Of course, I don't really want to use just hearts like they do, but that system of having, you know, X amount of damage you can take and very clearly and easily seeing what that is good. Just because we're going to be using a lot of kind of whole numbers when we're doing damage. Lots of 1s or 2s or depends, because I don't really want to do quarter hearts as a quarter. Like a quarter of a heart could be 1, and every single heart is 4 health, you know, something like that. But instead, you know, don't do hearts, do something else. I don't really have an aesthetic for the game yet, but one of my kind of favorite Zelda games is Wind Waker, so I would love to do this game and kind of base it off of that one. And I don't know, maybe do sailing and something like it. Yeah, so let's do a health bar for the time being, and then let's also do what else can we get done? We could try and do blocking, or we could try and do something else. I wonder if these guys have a blocking, the AI. Let's take a look at the animations that we have for them. It doesn't say, there's no blocking here. Melee, knock, sprint, stun. It doesn't really look like a block. We could try and repurpose it, but it does look like it. That's definitely a stun right there. That one looks good. But yeah. That's kind of cool. You could do some juggling if we wanted to with our combat. Or knocking them up a bunch. Knock backward. So that's kind of cool. I definitely want to do some kind of enemy manipulation in terms of like knocking them around. So something that I really like is shield bashes or things like that, where you're physically pushing the enemy around. Just because it's really nice to be able to do those things where you knock enemies off of cliffs or into walls or other enemies and it stuns them. Those things are really cool and a lot of fun. Shield bash for us would be pretty straightforward. We need a button for activating your shield, but then you would just do like a tap to do the bash, or if you want to lower your shield, you just release it, you know. That brings us to the other question, which is how do we want to deal with abilities like that? Zelda doesn't really have a whole lot of abilities in that sense. You're very limited in what you can do in terms of being able to attack, and it's not like a Dark Souls where you have the stamina that you have to really manage. Although Breath of the Wild does have stamina. I don't know how much it actually applies to combat though, like Dark Souls does. And what do we want to do with that for this game? It's a good question, but yeah, I'll think about it. Okay, health. Let's do that real quick. We're going to do health for our player, and that's just going to be on screen, and then we're going to do the same health bar for our enemy, but it'll be, for now, just over their head. I don't know if... Or, you know, we could just leave the enemy health and not show it. I have a feeling that I just kind of don't want to go that gamey with it. You kind of just have to intuitively start to understand how long it takes to fight some of these guys. You could do some animation stuff too, that'll help with that. But we're going to throw this into our... Actually, hold on. Characters, player, in here. User interface, widget, puzzle box. And we're going to call this our player health. All right. Rename that to canvas main, and I'm just going to do progress bar. And I think that's really all we want. Let's put it in the top left, like a standard kind of Zelda thing. We're going to give it a position of 50 offset for now. And size, let's make this 30 pixels by 200, 400. 400 is a bit big. Let's go back to 220. Okay. And again, this will just be a percentage 0 to 1, but that's fine. I don't mind. Progress bar, health. And what we can do is bind this. Oh, whoops, that's a fill color. I don't want that. Wrong one. Move that binding. This one is what I want. And we're going to rename this to get player health. And we're going to say get owner, or owning player, is it? Owning player pawn. It's the player pawn associate. I think this does get filled out for us automatically. We will find out pretty quickly. Now I can cast it to the player character, or I can get it from a blueprint interface. Blueprint interface characters. We already have one here for this, so let's just use it and say return health. Return current health. And we're going to do a return of a, I want to say it's a float. Current health. And eventually this will just be the number, but right now we need to make it a percentage, so we'll divide it by our total health. Let's go to character. We can implement it into here. I think, yeah. Return current health. Let's get health. Current, get health max. It's current divided by max to get us our percentage. So this stuff's kind of boring and easy, but it has to get done. Okay. Back in our UI, return current health message. And automatically, it's going to be our percentage. It's blue right now, but let's make it like a red for health. $0.85, yeah, it's not bad. Let's do that. And then player character. This is going to be right on the screen, so we're just going to add it to the screen directly, which the way we do that is like this. I'm going to take then we're going to set up our timers, and then we're going to jump into create widget. Collapse this to set up health widget, player health. So this has to be a player controller, get controller. So we have to cast to our player controller. Because our controller for this can be either player or AI. But because we need to access the owning pawn, I think we have to have this set. Because I assume what it's doing is getting the owner, the controller, and then it says, okay, get the player controller's pawn. Which, in our case, we're going to say then, promote to variable, just in case we need it later. Let's call this widget player health. I actually don't need an underscore. Could do widget blueprint WBP. I don't like that. Just call it widget player health. Okay, then we're going to add to screen and hold on. To viewport is what I wanted. Add to viewport. Toss this on. Okay. Okay, perfect. We're good. Save. Let's press play. Yep, we're good. Let's see if we take damage, if it's working. Yep, there you go. All right, perfect. All right, let's remove that print string. I don't think we need it anymore right now. Let's delete. Okay, perfect. Okay. Health is there and it's working. I think I want to make the bar just slightly thinner. It's a little too thick, I think. But otherwise, I think we're good. Okay. So 20, let's make it 15. All right. Okay, so that's out of the way. We can do blocking. Blocking's a good kind of way to end this. Let's close these. Okay, player. Okay, so we have this enter blocking, exit blocking stuff. We need to set it up here, and we also need to set up some way for the player to do it in through UI. How do we want to do that? Okay. Can't be damaged. Let's throw this into combat and then, or actually health. This is going to be in health. Okay. Okay, so a couple things. One, can we block? We want to stop the player from blocking if they're currently attacking, if they don't have a shield, or, if their weapon can't be used to block kind of thing. We'll get to weapons blocking stuff later. If we're in combat or not, I don't think we want the player to be able to block if they're not in combat. When you're not in combat, you're just going to be running around. And I don't think you're ever going to take your weapons out, just because there's not enough buttons to deal with that. With your touchscreen, you don't want to be covering everything with buttons everywhere. So enter blocking, same thing as can attack. Can attack says, hey, are we in combat and are we already attacking? Big difference is that if we attack while we're blocking, the block basically ends. So the way that we're going to develop this is with are you blocking, and also is the button down to try and block. Meaning that as soon as you're done attacking, we don't want the player to have to repress the blocking button again, because it'll get really annoying and difficult very quickly. So instead, there's also this variable that just says, hey, are you trying to block? And as soon as we can, then let's start blocking. Okay. So let's do this. Be alive. I don't know if we need that yet. I don't think we have that in here. I wonder if that's part of the problem. We're seeing that one bug. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay, blocking. So enter blocking. Can't be attacking. Have to be in combat. Can't already be blocking. So let's do another one. Duplicate called be blocking. Combat block. Or block, actually, instead of a combat shield. Combat shield has a section, so we're doing that. We're not attacking, we're not currently blocking, but our block button is down, and we are in combat. What do you want to call this? Be attempting to block? That's a good name for that. Be block held. The question, I guess, is then, do you have to hold the button down too? So in the case of a controller, that's really easy. It's kind of nice. It's like an instinctive thing that players like to do too, where you grip your controller a little bit tighter when that attack comes in. But we don't have any way of doing that on a phone. We could do this desire to block. So be block desired, as in even if you just click it once, as long as you're not currently blocking, the next instant that you can block, the shield will come up. Even if you're not holding it down. And then you just tap it again to bring your shield back down. Okay, so let's do that. Be block desired. So we're going to order it like this, which is all these things have to be true. Okay, do enter blocking, enter block state. We'll do that. All right, and then let's just go ahead and toss these into a group as well. We might put it into a function later, but can block and block. And we're going to set this to be true here. And here we're going to set it to false. Use a block state. Okay. For how we want to toggle blocking for the player, I still don't have a good idea. I have an easy idea, which is just this piece of UI essentially, but it's kind of a bad system because it clutters up your view even more. The more that your hand has to go over the screen, the harder it's going to be. I could do it where I just tap on the player itself so that there's nothing blocking the screen. Like UI wise, you still have to like have your finger come in and like tap on the player. But that system is already kind of set up for us because we have the tap to move and things like that. The only problem is like this, where I'm tapping to move, but if I accidentally tap on my character, bam, then all of a sudden you're blocking, not moving. There are other ways to do it. There are things like we could do it where when you're backing up, the shield comes up. So automatically, like whenever you're going backward in any way, you're shielding. So you're doing your circle strafe stuff, and right before you get attacked, you pull back. But it's kind of, the problem with that is just it's very much a gradient, which is not very good for like fast-paced, I want the character to do this like right now. Yeah, see, even there, I'm still alive, though. There's got to be a bug there for that. Because I shouldn't be able to attack. Well, this guy's not even dying now. Neither am I. What is going on, guys? I bet this has to do with the way our damage is being dealt and our attacks are being dealt. And what I mean by that is that our montage never ends, so we never exit the damage state. Okay, so on interrupted, we also need to do that. So completed or interrupted, because that's probably one of the things. Let's find the other one. Oh yeah, it's already in here. If we're ever interrupted, let's just finish everything right away. At least then, like, this shouldn't ever get interrupted, but if it does, you know, all right, fine. At least we can just finish everything and have that character die. Okay. So for now, let's do the that kind of thing, where our character, when we want to block, we just tap on the character, and it'll be all right. It won't be great, but it'll be all right. Especially since it's already set up, it's quick. We can prototype it out real fast, and yeah, have a quick proof of concept to see whether it's good or bad. So this is where we're doing the update touch move stuff. Where's our release touch? Release touch is here. Where's the tap to move? Here we go. So tap to move happens here. It's an input, and essentially what it does is just says get the point that you're tapping on, and then when you release, as long as it ended up being a tap input, then we're good to go. And it has to have like a valid movement. So if there's no like navigation where we're trying to go, we can't really tap to move there. So with that in mind, we need to do the same setup basically for our block, or our desired block. And then we need to start a timer which says check to see if we can block. Or instead of a timer, we could just figure out whatever would be blocking, or blocking the block. Yeah, whatever would be stopping our player from blocking. In our case, it's like being damaged, or like or attacking, or something like that. When that ends, we just go back to blocking. Although I don't really like doing that. Essentially, what we really should be doing is like pushing a state. You know, so we you have the system where you can have a layered state. You know, of here's the blocking. It's a lower priority than attacking. So when attacking comes in, it takes over. And then once attacking is done, that state gets pushed out, or what do you call it? Do you like pop it? I'm trying to remember. There's some terminology for it. That I just don't know because I'm not a programmer who knows all this stuff, although I should. So we don't have that right now. We could create one, but that would take quite a bit of time and setup work that we're not going to do this minute. So, especially since we're not sure if we care that much about this kind of type of blocking system. Let's do it the simple way. We'll come back and we'll fix it later. So enter blocking state, all this stuff is great, that's fine, whatever. What I want to do is, in the player, we need to activate that. So touch input. When we're in combat, something we could do is just have an area on the player that basically says this is the designated area. And I'm kind of leaning towards doing that more than doing a line trace. Because, okay, so there are two options I'm thinking of. The first one is to use the actual player mesh as a means to start blocking, but that's a problem when our player kind of moves on the screen pretty rapidly. So there's quite a bit of back and forth of where the camera is and where the player is, which is nice because it's kind of part of this dance. You know, you get a little bit of sway and movement, but it also causes some problems for our UI, because the UI might be here 1 second or it'll be here the other second, which is bad. You know, you don't want to do that. So we could just have a block kind of in this corner here. Again, that'll still kind of block our movement a little bit though. But it might just be the better system instead of having you click on the player character. Do we ever check? I'm trying to remember. Do we ever check to see if this is on the thirds? So you have this kind of rule of thirds. Were we doing this before? I can't remember. Yeah, it looks about right. So the player characters are right on that line. Okay. Enough getting sidetracked. We're going to create, for now, an invisible button. We're just going to throw it over kind of that corner. This is going to be another UI piece. Player health, let's just duplicate it real quick and say puzzle box, player block. Delete that one out. We'll do our graph, get rid of the player health stuff, delete. Okay. We're going to do a button. Put the anchor into the corner. 0. We're going to do the opposite, 1 and 1, which will put it on the other side, facing this way instead. We're going to give it a little bit of space by like 50 pixels. 400 by 400. Just a big old square. And we'll do 300 by 300. Something we could do as well is render opacity like 0.2, like real faint for now, so we can see it. Shield, button shield, and we're gonna put in our unclicked. What's gonna happen is we're gonna get player owning, player pawn, which we're gonna have to cast to, or wait, no, we're not casting it, we're just using our interface. So, do we have a blocking interface stuff, right? Yeah, so the character already has this where it's enter blocking. All right. Something we could do is instead of doing, let's just add another function on here. Characters, damage, focus, death, combat, must be under weapons. Yeah, enter blocking. So enter. Or set desire blocking. So set desire blocking is going to pass it a beat block. It's just going to be a toggle. Combat blocking, pile save. Now for enemies, they might not really use this much. They might not. Or we might get to the point where we actually have the stack, the state stack, but we'll get there. So blocking. See, this is a problem though, where we're going to be checking what the block status currently is. Basically, you're turning it on and off like a toggle button. So we might not even need this thing here. Let's just come back to it and remove it. Okay. Set desire blocking. We're going to change that to toggle. Toggle blocking desired. There we go. Okay. Toggle blocking desired. Okay. So in here, this is fine. Let's go back to our character here. We're gonna do it in the parent class just in case the AI does need to use it. Our toggle blocking desired. All we're gonna do for this, the only thing we have to do is say be blocking desired. We're also going to check if we're in combat. But after that, we're just going to be taking it and inverting it, as in do the opposite of whatever it currently is and set it. We could actually stack this like this. Collapse this down. Okay, so that's good. We're all done here. All right. And then, yeah, so the question is, we could just do the timer for now. It's not the best method for this. It's just right now probably the fastest. Or I guess we could just not worry about it. Basically, say, hey, we're desiring a block, right? So we're just gonna say enter block. Or exit block, basically based on this. So Boolean branch, if we desire block, enter. If we don't, exit. Okay. And then we'll get back to the timer and whatnot later. But while we're blocking, we need to do some things for our attacker, like taking either less damage or no damage. We're going to say, as long as we're blocking, we can stop the blocking. But if we're in combat, it doesn't really matter, because if combat ends early, and we want the player to be able to still stop their block, we want to basically just say, hey, are we blocking? Stop doing that. Okay, so this is why we can still attack while we're dying, because we're in the middle of dying, but yeah. Check to see if we're alive or not. When we die, something we could do also is just turn off input completely while we play the animation and whatnot. Let's do that. Well, do we want to move the camera? After you die, can you move the camera around? No, let's say no. I don't know if there's necessarily a reason to right now. Okay, so on death, all this stuff happens, and that's great. And what we're going to do here is say, no matter what, we're going to get controller, cast a player controller, and if we're a player, disable input on the character. And that's going to come out right here because that happens instantaneously. Disable input on, instead of that, we're going to put it here to target self. Okay. This is getting a little crowded, so. Let's just spread this out a little bit more. Okay. So input on our character, our player character, as soon as we die, stop. Can't do anything. That'll help solve some of the problems. Not for the AI though, so I gotta figure out what's going on with the AI. Okay, so we got a shield. Let's take a look at what our shield does. Our shield doesn't do anything right now. It's basically just a weapon, so it's just like the parent. There's no code in it. But we need to add in the blocking stuff here, and then we need to be able to raise the shield up, like animate it. And then eventually we'll like negate damage and whatnot. I think this is in the wrong place. Enter death state shouldn't be here. We should call the enter death state before we even get to this point. Right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Oh, whoops. So what to do. So we call the parent. And then we do the death stuff. And we check to see if we're dead, right? And only if we're dead do we do this stuff. See, last time I was way out of it. I'm trying to remember if last time if that was the week I was sick. Might have been. Okay, alright. So if we're not alive, meaning we're dead, then we get to do all this stuff. Be like, hey, we're dead, fade to black, open up the level again, reset everything. Cool. And we should be dead because we should be calling this parent class, which in the parent class, if we go to our enter death, yeah, we already checked, hey, are we alive? And that's true. So we say, no, we're not alive anymore. Play all this stuff, do all these things, and then in the case of our player, we reload the level and do all that stuff. Ooh. Oh, I accidentally hit the, can't remember what key it is, but opens up the Unreal documentation. Okay. So all this stuff should work, but we have no way to do it yet. The player character we need to add that UI onto, which we have the block here. So we're going to do another begin play setup stuff. And we can do it this way. Just take a copy of this, or copy the whole thing here, paste it. Instead of doing the health widget, we're going to do the blocking widget. So block widget in here, change this to block, and kill that. Promote to variable widget player block. We put these into categories. This one's going to be... Do we have a health category? I think we do. Health. And this one's going to be in a combat block, or a combat shield. I feel like that should be block instead of shield. Because this is attack and not sword. Ugh. It's more work though. Let's just do it real quick. Block, block, block. And then back in my player. Block. Alright, we're not going to add this to the viewport right away though, because we're only doing that when we're in combat. Otherwise it's gone. So let's go to our enter combat stuff. Enter combat state, player enter combat. If we are in combat, we're going to get our block, do validate it just in case, and add to viewport, and then remove when we leave. Okay. Perfect. Let's see. Shows up. Yeah. So it's in the bottom right. We can click on it. Of course, nothing really happens right now. So let's do the animation part. What's the best way to do this? Let's take a look at our animations for our character. Layer animations, let's go find the block. Attack block, block recoil, attack block, block, player block. Okay. This is entering into a blocking kind of section, which means that essentially what we're probably going to do is say, hey, when we enter into a blocking section, we need to can't just play a montage. It has to stay here, essentially. So this has to be part of our blueprint, animation blueprint system. And what will happen is when we enter into blocking, we just play the section here. But if we're moving, then the lower body has to move. We have to blend the upper body to be here. Let's take a look. Update animation group, and then we're going to say, do we have a turn blocking? We don't. So weapons, toggle blocking desired, enter, exit. I think we are going to put it in here. We still have to tell our shield that we are blocking as well, because what will happen is when we hit, I wonder if our combat, like our weapons, actually will directly hit our shield. So something that's interesting, like about Dark Souls, is that I'm not sure if they use the actual shield itself as a mesh to block things. They might do a combo of kind of both, where if you have your shield out and then as long as they're kind of in front of you, you can block that stuff. Or they might have it pretty accurate to the shield. But weirdly enough, when you're like doing your parry, where you do your little shield attack, and if it hits the enemy's weapon, the parry is kind of successful the way they have it set up. There's more to it, and I'm not a huge Dark Souls player, so I'm sure I might be getting it a little bit wrong. But point is that the shield itself does have collision, and the shield itself does collide with the other weapon to decide whether this thing is kind of working or not. I don't know if we really want to go that deep. So that's the question of, like, if we put it into this interface, is that... Because this gets passed to the player, but also to the weapon. Does the weapon need to know about this? Or the shield itself, really? Or does the player just need to know whether you're blocking or not? We'll put it in here just to keep it in here. But it is one of those things where I try to split this up to make sure that we're not having extra functions that aren't being used in different things, but it's a blueprint interface, so it'll be fine. And we're going to call this return blocking, V blocking, toss this into combat blocking. And let's jump back here, return blocking message. We're going to set a variable called blocking. Be blocking. Okay. Okay, so this works, but we also have this thing. Oh, we should always have a movement component. If we don't have a movement component, then it doesn't matter. The rest of this is going to be all messed up anyway, so that's fine. So this is good. Back in our default state, though, we need to set this up so you can block while you're walking and standing still. So it's idle and movement. And this could be an additive. I don't know if this animation is, though. Linear, no additive. So there's no additive for this one. So I don't have to use an additive necessarily. Instead, what I could do, let's jump back to it, is a blend by bone. Blend, I thought it was blend by bone. Blend poses by Boolean, that's kind of what I want. And then can I designate a bone? I can't. I thought it was blend by bone. Is that only out here? Layered blend per bone. Let's try that. Layered blend per bone. And we're going to blend by bool. Okay, so what this is, okay. Oh, I gotta duplicate. All right, we'll duplicate it. Okay. Our default is this idle for this one, and block. Except this one, we don't loop. This one we do loop. This one we loop. And we say blocking. All right. And every time, I think that's fine actually. Okay. So we're good there, and then when we come in and we say, okay, start blocking. Oh, I need to give it a... See, that's the problem though. Is now we'll only be lifting the shield from like our certain bone. You know, it's fine for now. This is gonna be spine. Let's do a 1. That's fine. Yep. So we're good there. Where we raise the shield up. Let's do it for moving as well. I'm just going to replace these idles. Okay. So now if we're running, we start blocking. Ooh, that doesn't look good. That looks terrible. That is pretty terrible. All right, let's try additive. I was hoping that it wouldn't be like that, but because the hips are moving, yeah, I guess the problem's like that. I don't want to remove the hips while we're running either. And one of the things you can do is just stop the player from moving while they have their shield out, but I hate that. I want to be able to move around and have like a little dance, Dark Souls or Zelda style. So let's make a duplicate of the block. Let's call it an additive and see if we can figure it out. We're gonna do, is it mesh space? I don't remember. I want to say it's mesh space. We're gonna do a frame from idle. Idle relaxed. And frame 0 is fine. Oh, that's great. Save, save. Looks fine. Go back here. Let's do apply additive. Lock additive. The only other thing I could do is, I don't really want to do the layered blend if it's going to be kind of weird looking like the upper body one was. Like applied here. Oop. Alright, no looping. We're also getting some terrifying stuff doing it this way. Okay. Not what we want. So, what's happening right now is that we're essentially applying an additive that, because the movement is not what we wanted. Yeah, let's go back to our other thing. I'll show you, or at least I'm assuming that's what's happening is because we're moving. Or walk, or jog. Is it jog? It's got to be something like that. Jump, land, run. Okay, it's like run. So run forward. So because the additive was using the idle and just the first frame of it, I also haven't done that. I haven't tried any of this stuff before. Okay, let's do a couple things. One is let's just try the idle one more time. And just see if the local space fixes it. Run. That's closer, but legs are a little meh. Of course, if we slow it down to like 150, doing it that way is not terrible. Let's see about going like 90. That's not bad. Okay, so that actually works for us. My fear was that I was gonna just have to change this to being like an additive for the run and an additive for like the idle. But I think this works. We're gonna keep the idle frame in here and we're gonna do all that, and that's fine. Just keep it as a local space. We're not gonna overthink it right now because, you know, it's not super important anyway. We had a little bit of a delay there. How come? Oh, because we went to the start idle. Which then beckons, do we need to have the start idle with it too? I think the answer is yeah. Otherwise, the shield will go down for a second and it'll look weird. Let's copy, let's paste. I'm sure I'll find an even better way to do this later. And be like, look at all the extra work we didn't have to do. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. Let's see if that works. Oh wait, I did not set up one thing. Okay, back in our character. So desired goes off, we enter blocking right away, as long as we can do it, and then we'll come back, we'll fix what happens if it doesn't actually enter, kind of thing later. But compile, we have this combat blocking section, return, and we're going to say get blocking. And then when we enter blocking and stuff, we probably should tell our item that we're blocking, our current shield. Of course, we don't need to, just because there's nothing in there that does anything, you know? But maybe we will in the future? I'm not sure yet. That's a good question. I'm just making it up as I go along. Okay. There we go. You can toggle it on and off. Of course, I still take damage. So let's negate the damage real quick, and yeah, I think that'll be it for today. All right, we apply damage. Can we be damaged, essentially? So there's also something interesting that I have not done too much with as of yet in terms of, hold on, let's just get rid of all that for a second. I'm looking for the weapon. Blueprints. Weapons, parent weapon. Which is this. So we have this thing where you could apply damage. It's built-in function from Unreal. The guys at Epic have this float value come out. So you apply point damage based on this amount, you know, in these places, you know, with this hit info and all that stuff. And you actually will get back out saying, hey, what was the actual damage that, you know, occurred? I think this is for like a point damage. It doesn't really do anything. I think this only is for radial damage. I really wish that if we could like pass back a value to it, like here we could say negative values for like you were blocked kind of thing. I don't think we can do that though. I wonder, did we set this up already? Toggle, return, combat, attack. Yeah, we have a blocked. So there's an attack blocked thing, which is good. We can do that. Back in our player and our parent. So when we receive damage, we're going to ask if we can receive damage. If the answer is yes, technically you could. You're alive. You aren't currently damaged. Yes, take some damage. Here we're going to say one more thing, which is, are we blocking? Get blocking. And for us, blocking is instantaneous. The second you press it, we're not waiting for you to raise your shield up. You're just blocking. And we need to be asking if we're not blocking, right? So let's move all this down. Give myself a little bit of extra space. Blocking. not. If we're not blocking, go ahead and do that. If we are blocking, then we're going to tell the the incoming damage actor that you were just blocked. So let's go to damage causer, I think it is. Let's take a look at our weapon. Our weapon says event instigator and causer are controller and character. So we're going to be telling the character, which is our damage causer. So damage causer, we'll just toss this in here and say blocked. You were just blocked. I wonder if the minion has a blocked animation. And right now we're going to negate all damage. Like, no damage, we're good. You're fine. So we basically don't do any of this stuff. We're all set. You can take damage right away. There's nothing, stopping it. Enter damage state, blocking, attacking. So when we attack, we're going to do event blocked because we don't have one for this yet. So if we're attacking and we're blocked. Let's enter attacking. Where's the enter attacking stuff? I'm looking for the montage stuff. Okay, so attack, we actually don't have a montage. Montage must be coming from somewhere else. Blocked is actually going to be the same because it's going to be different, I think, based on... Well, I think we're going to always play a montage. And it's going to, stop the character from moving. So yeah, we could do it as a montage. So we're going to do the same kind of thing. We're going to stop movement immediately, do all this stuff. Paste this in. Collapse to a... blocked. Attack blocked, which basically means, okay, stop all that. We could also do exit attack. I think that would be fine, right? That just gets our weapon, says you're done attacking. Let's take a look at weapon. What does being done attacking really mean? So exit attacking just says, okay, you're good to stop attacking. Really what we want to do is say exit damaging and exit attacking. Event blocked, here we go. So, weapon, if this ever happens, we can actually call this on the weapon itself as well. And then we'll take care of all this stuff here. We probably should say that once we're done attacking too, let's also say we're done causing damage. Just to be safe. Because right now we're calling this but not the damaging, exit damaging. Although when we exit damage, we also need to turn this off. So yeah, we need to call both of them. So, okay, weapon blocked, exit attacking, exit damage. And then back in the exit attack, we don't even need to bother with that. We have to call both of them. Okay. Enter blocking, exit blocking, all that's fine. So we are actually doing some stuff with it here, although it's just a Boolean. It's not doing anything else. Okay, so character. Current weapon, instead of saying exit attacking, we're going to say blocked. Just like we took the same one here. And then we're going to play a montage. So we're done doing that. Let's do a sequence. Say, hey, you just got blocked. For now, we're going to do a montage in here. Eventually, you might want to do a montage from the weapon or something like that. It depends, you know. You basically just need somewhere to store the animations that that weapon requires for your player. You know, a sword versus a spear versus something else. So you could do it a couple ways where you just hold all that information in the weapon itself, all the animation, you know, sets. Or an animation blueprint that's specific for that weapon, you know, and then you just pass it back to the player when they equip it, as opposed to doing it, you know, calling this, asking what animation to get. You still just do it in the player character. Either way kind of works. I feel like just copying over a new animation blueprint per like weapon might be the best way to do it, especially if it gets complicated. Yeah. Yeah, that's about it for that one. But now, once we've been blocked, we need to play that montage. Play montage. And we're going to get our mesh. We're going to do a blocked montage. Animation attack blocked. And we're not going to do anything else. Because we don't have a state for this. There's no, like, you could still be damaged while in the state, so there's nothing there. This really is just stop the player from moving and make them kind of recoil. Oh wait, I'm in exit attack. Shoot. Alright, hold on. I put this in the wrong place. Turn blocking. Where is it? Attack blocked. There we go. We're going to do that there, and we have to replace that other one. So we're going to take our weapon current, go back into exit attack, pop this in, tell our weapon. Okay. Fix that. Let's see. So this works, or it should work. We don't have anything in here for this one, but it's fine. It's our parent class. Let's go to our player. Oh, we need to move where this is to combat, attack. Okay, player character. Where is it going to be under? It's under attack or combat, and then yep. Okay. We're gonna do blocked and player attack blocked, which is this guy here, which is under full body. Looks good. We transitioned into it pretty quick. All that should be fine. It's just a standard montage. Do we have one for our enemy, though? Because our enemy won't block. We're not going to be able to see the player recoil right now. Characters, enemy. Okay, let's see if there's a blocked. No. No damage. So they've hit stuff. We could just do a hit, or we could do like a stun. Let's see what they look like. That one's really easy to read. We don't want to use any of the deaths because that's going to be too much, but we do have like these hit reacts still. But that's going to be really close to our weapon, you know, hitting them. So let's just take one of the stuns. We got 1, 2, and 3. I think this one is going to look pretty nice, where they attack and then all of a sudden drops, you know. Let's do that. So let's make a montage for this guy. Stun B, create animation montage. AM underscore, wait. I want to keep that melee stun. No, 2B. This is default. React upper body. Let's do full body slot. I have a full body slot, don't I? No, I just have a default slot. Okay, hold on. Okay. We can switch that over later. Then into our, where is it? Enemy character. What is it called? Stunned. Oh, no, it's not coming up. There we go, stunned. Okay, let's see. Of course, we have to have some downside to having your shield up all the time. There's lots of things you can do, like you can do it where, sure, you can block a bit, but then it takes up stamina, or it will be like a... Okay, so the AI still moves though, but it technically works. Okay, so a couple things. One is when we're stunned, we have to tell the AI to stop for a second. I don't know if there's... Let's drop that real quick so it goes into it pretty fast. Is there a way that I could stop movement just from doing animation montage? I don't think so. Let's go to the parent class though. Alright, so we're stopping movement immediately, which is fine. But then we have to tell it, AI, you have to stop for a second as well. Or in case of the player, like maybe they can still move their camera, but they can't attack for while this is going on. And they can't move as well, but yeah. Okay, so for the AI, we could potentially pause it. So stop movement immediately and stop our pathfinding. We don't need to do that. Well, that's a good question. I think we do have to do it here for that, for the pathfinding, because the player does have some pathfinding stuff that will be going on. Just stop movement. Navigation, stop movement. So that's fine there. Player montage. And then once the montage is done, then we're done, you know. But for our AI and stuff, we need to override this. So event blocked happens. Now something that's going to be tough to override is this montage section. Essentially what happens in the child class then is going to be, it does all this stuff we call the parent class, and it's great. It comes through and does all this, and we play the montage. But this has nowhere to go. On complete, we can't tell the AI to start back up again. So we need to either do another function here or another call. So we could do a custom event, attack locked complete, or we can change this out to be like a stun completed or something like that, and then just use the same logic and just play different amounts of time for that stun and different animations based on what actually happened. Let's do that. Let's do exit stunned. We might move this over to our to like our character blueprint interface or something. Custom event is what I'm looking for. Custom event called enter stunned. Enter stunned, exit stunned, and then the question is, should we put the montage in the stunned section, and just when we call you're being stunned, to be like passing it a variable of what montage to play, which we could do. That would work. Let's do that real quick. Enter stunned. I'm gonna do animation montage. Animation montage, reference, stunned animation, which we take this stuff here. Just stunned. Oh wait, hold on. Let's take this one. Okay, and then here. And for now, we're just going to do this real quick because we're going way over our time. It's already 9:30 where I'm at. Okay, so let's say enter. Montage, and then when we're doing like a blend out, let's say exit stunned. So on that, or on interrupted, or anything like that, or let's just say complete and interrupted. It's fine. Why? What's going on? Refresh. Okay, perfect. Now our exit stunned isn't going to do anything here right now. Attack block stuff. We're stopping all of our movement. We're stopping our controller's current movement that it's doing. We're telling us that our attack was blocked and we're entering a stunned state, right? So back in our... where is it? Okay, so back in our stun state, we're doing the montage, which is what every single character class is going to do. And we're calling the end. But we don't have anything else we have to do for specifically the player or specifically the AI. So we have to go to their sub or their child classes and do it there. So let's do that real quick for the enemy. We're not going to even bother with the player right now since he can't be blocked anyway. Or she can't be blocked. Where is it? Where's enemy? Here we go. Okay. Event, enter stunned, in event, exit stunned. We're going to call parent, and call parent. So we're going to do all this stuff. Right now, we're not checking to see whether we can be stunned or not. We'll have to do that later. But we're going to say pause AI or stop AI. I'm trying to remember what it's called. Let's get behavior. Or here, get controller. I need to get my AI controller. Get AI controller, controlled actor self. Do they not have a get player controller? Yeah, I feel like they should have one of these things for the character class like they do here. So you have this controlled actor. You can just say, hey, get the AI controller, which is nice to have this baked down into C++ and whatnot. Okay, so as long as we have an AI controller, can we pause AI or stop AI? I'm trying to remember. AI, clear focus. I mean, the other thing we could do is just, I don't really want to do it that way though, which is like set their movement speed and their rotation speed to 0. Because it's kind of like a band-aid fix. The AI is still trying to move. I thought there was a thing to say, don't, here, let's do brain. Yeah, get brain component. That's what it is. Stop logic. Reason, let's say stunned. I don't know if you need to have a reason, but we're going to do a quick test and say, hey, does this actually work before we do anything else? Before we like re-enable it. Because we should see the character basically completely stop. You might still turn and face the player. The focus might still do that for us, but let's see. Yeah, so still rotates to face me, but can't move. The AI logic should all be paused, essentially. Which is perfect. You know, it's working. Cool. So let's do this. Do this. Miss this one. Restart logic. Okay, and then the other thing we want to do is get our focus. AI get focus actor. Or I wonder if I could just... Where am I setting the focus again? I know there's a spot that I was doing that. Because I had to think about this before. Enter damage. Where was this? This is going to be like enter combat or set focus target. Here you go. Set focus target. This is the orient, valid, and then in the AI, this thing is going to call the set focus, right? Pretty sure. Yeah, set focus target right here. What? How did I miss this? Come on. This is right in front of me. All right. Close to that. So the set focus gets called when we're here, but I don't think we're calling it anywhere else. Like, I don't think we're calling it in the behavior tree. I can't remember. So what I want to do is basically save whatever our last focus was. And then, well, you know, actually, did we save it? Let's go to our parent class. Yeah, so it's saved into this variable called focus target. So we should be good in terms of saying set focus, which is just set focus to nothing, which I think is going to be good. I don't know if, my hope is that it doesn't like turn to face 0, 0, 0 though, but I guess we will find out. Set focus, and this is going to get target, get focus target. Okay, so then, you know, we just keep it and then we set it. Okay, let's try that. And there we go. Let's see if, yeah, so it doesn't rotate to face me. Is now stunned for X amount of time, and we're good. Of course, we might want to lower that time, that blocked kind of thing, or, you know, actually get an actual animation for it. I also really dislike the animation here. That's something we'll fix next time. Instead of doing this additive, we gotta figure out a different way. And then I can undo that. Not taking damage on that one attack. Well, now I am. Oh no, that's weird. I'll have to look into it. It's fine though. I think that's about it for this week. This is a good amount. So soon, hopefully, I'm going to start doing this more often. Like I said, trying to do it after work for like an hour a day instead of like the 2 hours or 3 hours that I've been doing lately. Cut it down. But yeah, that's about it for now. Now we can block. We still got some bugs to figure out. I'm looking into some of them, but we're getting there. Yeah, until next time. See ya.